Kia ora tātou, Jackson and Lukey here back on the bloody
Can I say my name?
No.
Can I say my name?
I had my whole pepeha ready to go. I've been in New Zealand, so I'm back in touch with my roots. Kia ora tātou, Jackson Thomas here, along with
Lukey Stowe.
For the Bloody Brilliant Bears podcast. We're very excited. It's Magic Round, and we can only grit our fucking teeth. We're excited.
Let's freaking go, baby.
Let's go!
Let's go!
Bloody Brilliant Beers. Bloody Brilliant
Beers.
Bloody Brilliant Sport.
Well, hello and welcome back to the Bloody Brilliant Beers podcast brought to you by Bluebet.
That's Klutz, I'm Das. We are Bloody Brilliant Beers. We started out reviewing craft beers on Facebook, and now we bring you the conversations that you'd more than likely hear from the front bar at your local. And Klutzy, as always, where are we coming to the frothies from?
Mate, we're coming from our local, which is the Caxton Hotel.
Exactly right. It's the greatest place on earth. Yeah. Klutzy's just going to run off and quickly grab something that we forgot to grab before we started. I was going to kick this podcast off by saying we're back. We've recovered from Magic Round. The fog has cleared, but clearly it has not because we're still two forgetful little boys. Before we get into this show, as we like to always do, Klutzy, let's get a bloke down our throat.
Fucking oath. We've got the bloke beers here, guys. We've had so many of them in the last couple of days.
Fuck, I can't believe there's any left at the Caxton after the weekend, to be honest.
Well, truth be told, I don't think there is.
Yeah, shout out to Denny Camp from Bloke on a Bar, sponsor of this week's show. If you want to get a bloke down your throat this weekend, go to blokeonabar.com and enter your postcode in the store locator. It's that easy.
It is that easy, even if you're in England, because it'll tell you there's none around you.
Exactly right. Before we get into the show, two bits of admin.
Yep.
One, how would you like to come to the footy with Klutz and I next Thursday?
Yeah, I'd like to come to the footy with us.
Broncos Panthers, Thursday night, Suncorp Stadium. Essentially a top of the table clash.
Yep.
I think Panthers might be fourth. Who knows? Who cares?
Yeah.
There's a little competition running on the Broncos Leagues Club Instagram right now. We'll share the post tomorrow so you can find out where it is. But basically, if you head there, all the details are in the post. You just need to leave a comment. Make sure you're following, and we'll take you out to dinner at the Leagues Club first, and then to the footy, and we might even sneak into the Caxton for a beer. So
fucking oath.
Should be good.
Broncos Leagues Club probably has one of the most underrated feeds in Brisbane, by the way. I grew up just around the corner from it, and we literally went to all my sister, and my parents' birthdays.
Yeah, it's a great
Always
to
the
place.
Leagues Club. It was a fucking treat.
So if you're keen on that, obviously you got to be in Brisbane. There's no flights included. Well, you don't have to be, but you have to fly yourself up and home, I suppose.
Yeah.
But yeah, the details are over there, so check it out. The second quick thing is we got new merch coming. And if you're watching on YouTube, you'll be able to see the lovely jumper that Klutzy's got. It's fucking freezing.
It's actually been ridiculous this week up in Brisbane.
It has been.
Where I was working yesterday was 3 degrees at 7 o'clock yesterday morning.
Exactly right.
It was fucked. And I had this on, thank God, and I was fine.
Exactly.
My legs were fucked, but I was good up top.
And we've also got some white hats. They're very different to any hat we've done before. Not the cord. They're a bit of a different shape, but I've been road testing this one for a couple of weeks, and it's holding up well. So I'm keen to see them out there. There'll be plenty more details on that to come. It's not for a few weeks. But stay tuned.
Das is actually the perfect person to road test hats as well.
Yeah, I've been putting it through its work, like stress test.
Seams aren't bursting.
No, which is unbelievable. There's even a bit of room with the clasp on the back, so if you're worried you've got a bigger noggin than me, then...
Fuck.
And the last bit, you would have heard at the start of this show, we've got a bit of an interview coming at the back end of this one. We've got Jacko and Lukey. Both the boys used to work for YKTR down in Sydney, a clothing brand, and now they basically are living out their dreams and working for their favourite rugby league clubs.
It was fucking such a sick chat because we met the boys a year ago and we've been talking to them for ages, but to see the journey that they've gone on, they got given an opportunity, took it with both hands, fucking perfected their crafts, and now they're off. Literally working. I know Jacko's spoken about it before. Like, he's idolised the Warriors since he was a kid.
Yep.
Knew he could never play football for them.
Yep.
And now look where he is.
Yep. And Lukey fucking loves Para, and he's working at the Eels. So it's sort of the first interview we've really done. We've had guests on the show before, but never really done an interview. So let us know what you think. And we're going to try and do a few more interviews. So let us know who you want to hear from.
Yep.
That was a lot of admin, but it's all exciting stuff, I feel. So
It is.
this is our sports show, as we say each week. If you're looking for a in-depth breakdown of the week's games and, some insights and stats, as always.
Kindly fuck off.
You're not going to find it here. Klutzy, obviously, if the Frothies were listening to yesterday's show, we had a big Magic Round weekend. Everyone did.
Also, congratulations if you got through the full show.
Yeah,
that was
it was
the scatters
one of
we've
the
ever been.
I think probably ever.
I think so too.
There was no like it wasn't in chronological order, which was anyway, doesn't matter. Go back and listen to it. It's a great podcast. But something else happened massive on the weekend, not in Australia, overseas, and that was the coronation.
Huge.
The new king.
Huge.
The new king was, I guess, essentially sworn in. So it got me thinking, like, what actually is a coronation for one? And I know we're on the lookout for our UK correspondent, but I did a bit of research in the lead up to today's pod. So basically the coronation, and I'm going to be reading a fair bit of this, sorry, it's I've got notes. The coronation ceremony sees the crowning of a new king or queen. The ancient ceremony is an occasion for spectacle and celebration. Basically, the queen died, for people who don't know, and they've sworn in the new king on the weekend.
Yep. Fuck, that took a while to happen.
Yeah, it does. Well, yeah, we'll get to that. But
it's like, hang on, sorry, just on that. Like, it's not like there's many other people that are candidates.
Yeah,
you don't go and vote.
I read that it was 7 months today that they have to wait. I don't know why, but that's just what they do. I guess it gives people time to mourn or something, whatever. But it got me thinking, obviously an absolutely momentous weekend for rugby league, sport in general, Magic Round on the weekend.
Yep.
We had all the games up here at Suncorp Stadium, which is just down the road from our little home, the Caxton Hotel. And I don't know how many people, I lost count, were saying to us, this is the pinnacle.
Yep.
This is the greatest thing ever.
It's the best thing ever, and Queensland get rugby league, and we understand why we're from New South Wales.
And at the heart of the everything was the Caxton Hotel, really.
Yep.
If you weren't here on the weekend, what were you doing? And most people might not know this. I know a few people will, but you and I know. Who's at the heart of the Caxton Hotel?
Lord Farquhar.
Lord Farquhar, our good friend Sterling. So we think that there's a new King of Caxton Street.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, I wonder what actually goes into a coronation and why it happens and blah, blah, blah.
Yep.
I went through each step, and it's actually mind-blowing that I have exact examples from during the week of every step of the way. So basically, the ascension or the coronation is when a new monarch succeeds to the throne upon the death of the previous king or queen. Now, I don't know who the death of the previous king or queen was, but you can't argue that if the Caxton was the pinnacle of Magic Round and Caxton Street.
Correct. Well, if we're waiting 7 months, do you reckon that's roughly when Jared, previous venue manager of the Caxton, left?
Potentially it is.
I think, that
I hadn't even thought of that. I hadn't thought of that. I didn't want to throw anyone under the bus and basically say that someone had died or stepped away. But I think it's just obvious after the weekend that there's a new king. So did a bit of reading about what actually happens on the day. And this is basically what happens. First of all, the first step, recognition and oath. The people in the Abbey are asked if they recognise the new monarch. Now, I don't know if you saw a post in our BBB Frothies group on the weekend. Sterlo on the roof.
Oh, yes.
One of the Frothies was in the car park at the Caxton.
Yeah.
Recognised Sterling on the roof.
Yep.
Recognised him. Posted it. Sterlo, get off the roof.
Yep.
He's been recognised.
He's been recognised. Correct.
He's been in our podcast before, but not that often. You've done well to recognise him. So bang, step one, he's been recognised. Number 2, anointing. The monarch is anointed using the coronation spoon with holy oil. You might be wondering, how the fuck did that happen?
Yeah, how did we anoint him?
Well, pretty much after he knocked off on Sunday night, he was anointed by about 50 drinks, I reckon. Yeah. There was blokes, there was some Booker shots at one stage.
God.
After you left, there was Jägermeister, everything. Fuck. He was covered in it.
Yeah.
And drinking all of it.
Yeah.
So he was anointed. Then number 3, investiture and crowning. This is followed by so number 2 is followed by the dressing of the monarch in a spectacular robe cloth of gold. Sterlo was in his little Caxton suit all week, but as soon as the weekend was officially over and he was knocked off,
he had that fucking shirt on.
Yellow shirt, gold Caxton hat. Gold Caxton hat. Would there be anything in this pub that would be more similar to a crown than that?
Nah, probably not.
The gold Caxton hat, worn by the King of Caxton Street. And finally, number 4, homage. The senior officials of the United Kingdom pay homage to the newly crowned monarch.
Awesome.
Now, you might be asking who's the senior officials. Well, as we stated yesterday on our Wednesday show, we were pretty lucky and pretty special to have been a part of something up here with a rugby league great, a media great, Matthew Johns.
Yep.
And I feel like if you're in the room for that,
it was one of the all-time greatest dribbles I've ever heard.
It was. And
I
I feel like that makes you a senior official, right?
Yeah.
So I've actually got a few of the senior officials who have just sent through a little voice memo to pay homage to our new king, Sterling Farquhar.
Awesome.
First one is Matt Buxton, Matty the Waterboy from the Bloke in the Bar podcast.
Boys, Matty the Waterboy here, and you can probably hear it in my voice, but just a few days after Sterling put together the weekend of the year at Caxton, Magic Round, it's only fair that I take a moment out of my day to acknowledge the great man as undeniably King of Caxton St. Whether you're Alfie Langer or Matty Johns, a general punter or anyone in between that has stepped foot onto Caxton St one time or another, you no doubt have unforgettable memories, which in every case points back to Sterling. In my opinion, the Caxton is the most elite pub in Australia. Whenever we go there, Sterling makes us feel at home. Of course, despite being from New South Wales, except Denon. Dead set, and I hate to admit this publicly, but I guess there are a few times when we're at Magic Round on the weekend, even last year to a degree, but certainly this year with a couple of the Sydney boys. But New South Wales just don't have anything like the Caxton St, Caxton Hotel, and the weekend that Sterling and the famous pub can provide us. I'm sure, look, Sterling, I'm sure you'll hate to be associated with New South Wales in any way, but we need our own Sterling down here, and that's the best compliment that I'll ever give. Undoubtedly, the King of Caxton St, I will be absolutely honoured to be back one day.
Fucking shout out to Matty the Waterboy. Put in one of the big shifts on the weekend, and what a wrap up of the man, the myth, the legend, Sterling Farquhar.
That's it. We've got one more here. Good friend Tom from the Donny Sports podcast, who was also in the room when Matty Johns graced us with his presence.
Boys, just wanted to say I also agree that Sterling should be named King of Queensland. On my podcast a few weeks ago, mentioned that he was the Prince of Queensland, and he scoffed at me, obviously because he knew he would be assuming the highest throne in all the land at any moment. Anyone that's been able to wrangle in the absolute degens that roll through the Jacko at Magic Round deserves nothing more than a kinghood in the best and greatest state in all the world.
So I guess
There it is.
how you can argue with that?
You can't.
The coronation, Magic Round.
I was
What a
going to
weekend.
say, the Caxton is sort of like a castle.
It is,
And there
very
is
much
king
so. It's
within
a
the castle,
fortress.
and the amount of people that message the king
Yeah.
to get them into the castle.
Unbelievable.
And he has the power to either
Yay or nay.
yay or nay them.
Yeah.
He is undoubtedly the King of Caxton.
And we probably don't say thanks to him enough publicly. Like, in all seriousness, the Jacko have backed us from fucking day dot. We've never paid a day's rent.
Yep.
They fucking shout us free beers and shit all the time. We're up here living rent free, literally. So, Sterlo, thank you so much.
We went to pay rent in the pokies last Monday and came away with a lot more than we put in. So
But that's how the
they're very
cookie
good to
crumbles
us.
sometimes. So, yeah, just a massive shout out to Sterling. Officially the King of Caxton St, in my opinion. And if you argue with that, you're a fucking idiot. He's going to hate this, but anyway.
that's all right. Yeah, he will hate it. But if everyone that comes to the Caxton can just go up and say, "All hail the king."
All hail the
If
King.
you see Sterling, say, "All hail the king."
Yep. He'll fucking hate it. Please do it.
Ash is his little court jester.
Yeah, Ash is the prince, I guess.
I think he's a jester because he's such a little
Funny.
little funny man.
Yeah, I love it. All hail the King.
So obviously, Magic Round on the weekend, you got to see all the rugby league games. Well, sort of,
Yep.
if you wanted to. One thing that we saw was the Dragons Tigers. Now, Das obviously had his big spiel last week about why the Tigers would win. Undoubtedly, they'd win. It almost got taken away at the very end by the Dragons.
Yep.
Um,
Women's
Could
Day
almo-
never lies, though.
no, you could almost say it's like when you're coming off a dry spell.
Yep.
You're that excited and you might have had a bit of liquid courage. They
Yep.
almost had too much liquid courage,
Yep.
but they just pulled it together at the end. Whether it
Maybe a
was their own
tack yak?
doing. Yeah, a bit of a tack yak.
Might have
Wh-
helped him out.
Whether it was their own doing or, you know, the other person involved in the confrontation, either fumbling at the finish or just conceding that the other person needed this. The Dragons had the biggest opportunity to score a try in the dying seconds, and it was a simple 4-on-3 draw and pass.
Yep.
Now,
Something we know a lot about.
something that we know a lot about, and that's what I want to get into, is that the Dragons, if they were up in the Caxton on Saturday and had a conversation with Matt Johns literally 24 hours prior, they would have learned about one fucking special thing. And what is that special thing?
Drawing and passing.
Draw and pass. It's called shape, baby.
It's called shape.
It's called fucking shape. Now, it was ridiculous to see that, like, obviously you have brain explosions and shit like that, but one of the fundamentals of the game of rugby league
Is the draw and pass.
Rugby league gets called a simple game, but it's a combination of complex and diverse just complexities. And when you get to the nitty gritty of the intricacies and the complexity of the game, it becomes simple.
Whoa.
And one of the simplest things is the draw and pass. Now, we spoke about it a bit the other day, but it is just so funny that after we got a 45-minute to hour conversation about the complexities and intricacies of rugby league and the draw and pass, but specifically the draw and pass, all I could do when I watched that moment was go, holy fuck, this is so funny. Like, they don't understand the complexities of the draw and pass, but
like
we
the fact
do.
that we do.
The fact that we understand that you got to draw that person in and basically create a bigger gap with your mathematical equation and give everyone the best opportunity to get through. We know all this because of our spiel with Matty Johns.
Yeah,
but
the great man.
I just don't understand. Like, the Dragons, you're not having a very good season at all.
No.
I think they need to put a call out to Matt Johns to just give them that speech.
Yep. I think we could almost take this a step further, Josh.
Okay.
Maybe if the frothies are out there, like something that people might not know, but basically since we had our little shape session with Matty Johns on Saturday afternoon, we've run shape every other day upstairs at the Caxton.
We were just running shape for touch football.
Literally, with Sterling 15 minutes before we started. And it was so fun.
It's good.
I want to see the frothies out there. If you're on the piss, run some shape. Run some plays.
Shape. Simply get an A and a B defender, draw in the A defender.
You really only need 3 people, don't you?
You actually do.
And there's no maximum. Like if you have 7, you can do it.
You can keep running shape.
Yeah.
It's just a simple draw and pass. But it might appear simple, sorry.
It might appear simple.
But it is fucking complex and intricate.
And that's why you need to practice.
That's why you need to practice it. But I just thought it was so fucking funny that after getting this 45-minute spiel, we literally see that if you don't
put in practice,
execute the complexity and intricate details of the draw and pass you will fail. It was mind blowing to me.
Yeah, but definitely get those videos in. Let's get them in the frothies, or put them on your story and tag us or something, and maybe we'll compile it for the rest of the year and send it across to the Dragons for next year. I think they're fucked this year already. So
be good. Dare I say, I don't know if we'll bring it back. There's a very good chance we don't. But we, someone actually brought this up with me the other day. We used to have something called the BBB First 15.
Yeah, we could
got
do
to
that.
7 people.
We could do that if people are running good shape.
So if you can show us good shape and how to run good shape, put up a video of it in Frothies or on Instagram, as Das said. There is a chance that we might reopen the BBB First 15.
Potentially. We'll see how we go.
We'll see how we go.
Rolling straight off the back of that, Josh, because it's funny you mentioned the Tigers and then breaking that winning streak. But
Yep.
for those who might have listened to last week's Sport Pod, I basically found a stat that was talking about Appy Coruscant and how his losing streak at the Tigers for the start of the year was basically longer than all of his previous losses for the Panthers combined, which is crazy.
Yeah.
And I basically did some research looking up how to break a dry spell, and Women's Day had an article, and we broke it down, and there was a lot of similarities between what to do and what was going to happen at Magic Round, and our bet for the week basically was that the Tigers were going to win, and they did.
Yeah.
So if you want to read into that, basically Women's Day, how to break a dry spell.
Yeah.
Correct.
Correct. Very correct.
Not an ad for Women's Day either.
Have you gone back to Women's Day by any chance?
I've tried to go back to Women's Day this week, but couldn't find an article that would help me with this issue. So for those who don't know, I support the Brisbane Broncos.
Yep.
And Classy supports the Melbourne Storm.
Yep.
And unfortunately this week, we're playing each other.
Yeah.
And it sucks because someone's going to be happy as fuck and someone's going to be sad.
Do you know what I'm most excited about this?
What?
Is that you guys get more pissed off. So let's say Melbourne win. You guys get more pissed off because I don't rub it in your faces.
Yeah. Clutzy, I've said this a lot. He's very methodical and I can never think of the word, but he's probably thought out exactly what he's going to say to me if the Storm win already because he knows how to push my buttons or what he's not going to say to me. Anyway, it's happening on Thursday night.
Yep.
So I had to look at some stats It's basically the Battle of the BBB podcast.
Okay.
It's in Melbourne.
Yep.
So it's away for the Broncos. Broncos actually have a shocking record against the Storm in Melbourne. So Broncos have only won 13 out of 52 games against the Storm with one park down in Melbourne. In that, they've lost the last 12 straight, which is fucking insane. To be honest, that 12 straight, don't fact check me. I got it off Eden. But the first bit, correct, according to NRL.com.
Yep.
So many times they've met, but in recent history, they haven't been able to convert and get any action. The Bronx have just been left wanting. Their conversion rate's too low.
Yep.
They can't get the job done, basically. It's a shocking conversion rate. So I've done some research and I couldn't find anything on Women's Day, but I think I found another website which is just as credible and insightful. It's called Girls Chase. I'd never heard of it before.
Girls
but
Chase.
Yeah,
I've heard of
it's
this
called
before.
Girls Chase. I've never heard of it, but I was obviously looking for peer-reviewed journal articles on the QUT database.
Yep.
And basically the tagline for Girls Chase is "Get Girls Chasing You."
Ooh.
So this is a list of their tips for turning your dates with women into getting a root. Because I think that's what the Bronx need to do, right?
They need to fuck.
They've been
They
on
need to
too many
convert.
dates and they haven't fucked. They need a hump.
They're not converting territory into points.
Exactly right.
Fuck.
So, step number 1, have a game plan. And I think that just speaks for itself.
Yeah, you're a football team. If you're going into a game without a game plan,
That's it.
fucked.
A quote from Girls Chase. The website says, a game plan should include touching, push, pulling, teasing, telling stories, and role-playing. I feel like that just translates perfectly onto the rugby league field, right?
have you got any examples?
Well, off the top of my head, no. But obviously, the touching, push, and pulling is perfect, like wrestling.
Touch the ball.
Role-play. Someone's got to step up.
Yeah.
Adam Reynolds has got to play the role of a bulldog.
Yep.
Like everyone's got a role to play.
Yep.
In fact, every single one.
Yep.
So I don't know. I guess that just correlates perfectly to rugby league.
The only issue I can see with this so far, role playing. All right, you're probably going to want the opposition to be a little bit cucky. A
Yep.
little bit like our mate Don.
Yep.
I don't see anyone like Cameron Munster or Jerome Hughes, the two big balls of Melbourne or Nelson. I don't see them getting cucky.
Yeah.
But that's all right.
I think comparing this to last week's segment, last week was more along the line of how coincidental is it that all these points are going to be happening
Yep.
at Magic Round. This is more like what the Broncos need to do, if that
Yeah,
makes
okay,
sense.
I
Like,
like
there's
it.
no saying the Storm can't have the exact same,
Yep,
you
yep.
know, attempt at doing the same thing and win the game.
Yep.
The second step is always assume that the girl will sleep with you. So, boys, what I'm reading for that again is believe in yourselves. Believe you can get the job down. And I think, you know, if they're ever gonna break this 12 loss streak, it's gonna be this year, right?
Yeah.
Top of the table. They're going as good as they have for quite a while.
Yep.
Lots of young hot players. Like if Reece Walsh can't convert possession into points, then we're in big trouble.
Yep.
Next, step 3. When the timing is right, escalate things both physically and verbally. The website is quoted by saying, I once initiated, so this is written first person by a bloke.
Yep.
I once initiated a make-up by saying I'd totally bang you in the alley if I went on probation. Not so classy, but it's effective. It plunks the idea like a stone into the girl's mind.
And you know what? That is probably one of the most rugby league ways to say that as
100%.
well. So,
100%.
fuck.
Get out there and just tell them what's going to happen.
I'm going to plough you.
Cam Munster, you're getting humped. The boys need to get out there. Maybe not early, but when the timing's right,
Yep.
step it up. You're going to get humped. Payne Haas, come on, step up. So basically, when you plonk the thought into their mind, you want your date to be having these thoughts about you, right?
Yep.
So you're on a date, you want them to be thinking, oh, this could be on the cards.
Yep.
So we want the Storm to be running around thinking, geez, there could be a humping on the cards this evening.
Yep.
And that can be done by stepping up the verbal game.
Just get lippy.
Get lippy.
Just get
Exactly.
lippy.
Exactly. The website then says physical escalation is all about teasing, exploring, and with an increasing duration and sexual intensity. It can start with a look at the rings on her finger and end up with you eating her pussy on top of a laundry machine.
All right. From a Broncos perspective, it's probably like Reece Walsh fucking running up the line and throwing seed out to the right.
Yeah, it's
or to the left. But then he does a dummy and go because he sees his opportunity and he steps it up, breaks through the line.
and then the next thing he knows, he's on top of the laundry machine, which essentially is the try line,
Yep. And he's just fucking sliding and riding.
doing his thing.
I like that.
Finally, it wraps up by saying the website also says expect to be rejected and then make a comeback, which I think is a perfect metaphor. the Bronx have been rejected at Amy Park too many times that it's time for the comeback. And I think that could even happen early. You know, the Storm might go over, score points early, but boys, you got to lift.
There's a former Bronco player there as well. Xavier Coates rejected them.
Yep.
Might try and run rampant over here.
Might.
Bit of BDSM. So.
They do love that.
Yeah.
But in conclusion, just remember, she wants you to try. Be bold, be brave, be masculine. She wants you to take risks. Maybe she'll reject your advances, but at least she'll know and respect you for trying.
So essentially, the Broncos are just going to try and try. And if it doesn't succeed, well, there's still respect there.
Exactly. As I said, it's not so much of like omens. Yeah. There's going to be respect or there's going to be a humping.
Yeah.
Either way. If they follow that game plan.
Yeah.
And that's how I think the Broncos can beat the Storm this week.
Yeah, look, well, good luck. After last week's performance from our boys getting humped by the Rabbits at Magic Round, I dare say going back to our home field, they'll be a little bit up and about.
Yep.
Cam Munster will probably be the angriest man in Melbourne.
Yeah, he won't be happy. He won't be happy.
Look out for him. And
go Broncos.
go the Storm. So, massive shout out to Jacko and Lukey coming in. It's Thursday night. It's just before Magic Round. We're hot, horny, and hard as fuck.
Hey, a few blokes down our throat.
Fucking
A fair
oath,
few
baby.
blokes down our throat.
Yeah, someone's flight got delayed, so we've been on the blokes for a little while.
I've never consumed that many blokes
Well,
in the
but
city.
you boys are at the level now where you're not only getting the best talent in Australia, to my left here,
Yeah.
you're getting international talent.
Yeah,
Which
that's
means,
it. That's
which
it.
is huge. Which means you
international.
have to wait.
Yeah,
sometimes,
our first
you know?
international guest. Yeah,
That's actually huge.
Why is the podcast late? Oh, our international guest's flight got delayed.
Well, the
Like,
next
I don't know what you
time-
want
next
us
time
to do
your
about
parents
it.
go, oh, I don't know about this podcast thing. How's it going? You're like, Mum, we're international.
Yeah, a bloke
We
flew
are,
from
we are.
a bloke flew
you
from
got
New Zealand.
2% New Zealand listeners now.
Yeah, exactly
Which is
right.
good. I've
Pumping
got
up our
big time for it
numbers.
too, so.
Yeah.
And may I say Kia ora to all of you.
Kia ora.
You nailed
Yeah,
that too.
thank you.
Really rolled your R.
It's actually my favourite thing to say. I don't know. I find it's sort of like French, which I used to do in high
It's a
school.
beautiful language.
So,
It's a sexy language.
yeah, it is for sexy people like yourself, Jacko.
What about that?
So-
We were at the cafe the other day and I hit you with a Kia ora. And
You
she's
did.
like, are you?
She goes, oh, 2 Kiwis. No,
I was like, nah, love. Nah, love. Sorry.
To be fair, you spent the 4 years I've known you, you've been surrounded by more Kiwis than Australians. So,
This is true.
So
This is true.
It rubs off. It rubs off. But how are you, boys? Welcome back to the Caco, the eve of Magic Round.
Yeah,
you
mate.
pumped or what?
First, a little calm before the storm. It feels nice. First beer sort of just warming the palate.
Yeah.
Flight delay, but we'll get to all that. But now I'm feeling good, mate. This is I have some dark memories of that couch there in the corner.
So do I.
Sitting there, chewing your
Sleeping.
doing the leaning ones, going, fuck, I love you, bro.
When you think about it, that couch over there, just picture the Queensland after parties. Here.
Oh, bro.
As much as like I'm a New South Welshman,
Yeah.
sorry guys,
Yeah.
but that couch has seen some shit.
So,
This whole
and
precinct
like
Yeah.
not just from you,
yeah.
from
Way more
from
important
goats.
shit than
like immortal.
Exactly. Dude, so for people, you can't really see it in the shop, but the carpet in the upstairs of the Caxton got replaced a couple of weeks ago, and we were one of the first people to grace its presence with us. And we're like, you know what? Plenty of history in this room, plenty of juices.
Who got the old carpet?
Well, we're trying to track some down. We want to give away
Because
squares.
there's immortal DNA in that.
That is,
100%.
there is immortal
100%.
DNA. There's a lot more than immortal DNA.
Well, you
in
don't
that
want to
as well.
UV light it, but I'm just
No,
saying.
shit,
No. Particularly where I've been standing most of the time. So
There'll be big fucking warm
I come to
patches.
completion most times I'm upstairs here. So.
I just love this pump
It's
stuff.
hard,
Yeah, I
it's
love
hard
it
not
so
to. It's hard
much.
not to. But we can confirm that the first bit of juice that was spilt on the carpet up here was bloke lager.
Fucking oath.
So
Shout out
first,
to
Cheers to
Bloke.
that.
first of fucking
Cheers,
many to
boys.
come,
Cheers.
I'm
Thanks
sure.
for having me on as well.
No,
Fucking
welcome back.
oath.
I miss my roomie.
I've
Did
missed
you know
my
we were
roomie.
roomies?
Yeah.
Fucking
best,
oath.
best couple of years of my life. I'll tell you what, I told you boys just off air before. Yes, I miss Australia and I miss seeing you boys and
Yeah.
I miss connecting with events like this, but geez, I miss waking up in the morning to my mate.
Yeah.
Coming down the stairs, having a bit of a laugh,
Yeah.
acting like we're gonna go to the gym, but we flag it.
Yeah. No,
Acting like we're
ham
gonna
and
make
cheese
coffee at
croissant.
home, but we buy it.
Do you boys remember when he used to do those fit videos?
Yeah, coming
So
down the
the
stairs.
best one, so I walked
I
down
did
the
that with a
stairs.
roommate. So
Yeah, so I'm walking down the stairs and I was always on the right, just on the couch, and he's putting his shirt on, doing good stuff. The best one was he put his hat on and he had his shirt on still. So how are you putting your shirt on when you got a cap on? just trying to get the ring out. He's just trying to get the ring out.
Yeah, worse is like I love going back and forth with Lukey and like giving jabs, and he hit me with that. And it was the first time in my life that I just froze. And
Yeah.
like,
I
I
got
get easily
nothing.
embarrassed.
I got nothing to come
But
back
when
from
someone
here.
has a crack at you for getting the rig out and they've caught you trying to get the rig out, it's beyond embarrassing.
Yeah.
But oh well,
You caught me in a few moments on that couch though.
Yeah, we've caught each other.
Yeah, I feel like it happens if you spend enough time together.
It did, mate. It was a hell of a
Get
hell of
vulnerable.
How long was
We had
it?
a good run.
A year and a half, 2 years.
Yeah, 13, 14 months.
Yeah, a year. That's not 2 years at all.
It felt like it. It felt like it.
It was a fucking eternity for a moment, but no,
It felt like a movie.
It was a hell of a time, mate. It was a hell of a time in our lives in general, actually.
It was.
That's so good.
Grateful to be here with you boys, mate.
No, it's
welcome
good to
back.
have you
Enjoying
here.
the journey
Thanks for
from
coming.
afar, I'll be honest.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank you.
Really, yeah.
It's been a bit of a
Double
cook
B?
journey.
No, triple B.
Triple B.
I'm
Triple B.
confused with the Blue Bet.
Big
Shout out to
Blue
Blue
Bet.
Bet.
Shout out to Blue Bet. Thank you.
Big baller brand, all that.
Yeah,
That's it.
yeah. Fucking oath. LeVar Ball, Reg.
He
Yeah,
brushed your way.
yeah, he did.
He brings a
Happens.
lot of people during
Happens.
that weekend
Yeah.
actually.
Happens.
He did, didn't he?
Yeah. How are you boys though? Talk to me.
Yeah, good,
I'm
bro.
interested in filling us in on you.
Yeah.
Really?
What have you been
It's
doing,
been a
big
while
fella?
since we've
Oh
seen
man,
you
I've been
guys.
laying pipe for pleasure as always. Literally just fucking.
What about
Plumbing?
during the week?
What about for
We're
work?
not talking about
Yeah,
magic.
yeah. Nah, mate, just doing that. Getting back into the old rugby union. Going good. Got off the nerdy on the weekend, which was great, which everyone listening knows about.
Well, I know. Walk me through it.
Mate,
Talk us through the try.
Alright, so I've been getting absolutely bitched in scrums because they put me in front row, which I just don't do. And if anyone from the club is listening, go fuck yourself because I'm not playing front row anymore. I don't
enough.
care how desperate we are. Let's just fucking forfeit.
Yeah.
No, let's not do that. Let's not do that,
Golden
actually.
oldies. Just come down with the neck
Yeah,
injury.
exactly.
And
Yeah.
play on.
Yeah, but I
I
just
need
can't
to
do
get out.
it.
Yeah, yeah.
But no, mate,
And then play with the Brent tape.
Yeah,
up
that might
the
increase
Cobra.
your speed a bit.
Yeah.
Bro, it's already pretty fucking electric. So, no, it was a good old fashioned. You know the old full arms, and then when you're younger, you just go, all right, we'll just do a tap and go.
Yeah.
5 meters out. Let's just get all 130 kilos of the big oos across under the post and just fucking straight over. It
No one was
great.
stopping him. Like no one was.
No.
You let gravity do its thing at that.
And then I got
Yeah.
subbed off straight away, which was great. So
Yeah.
I was like, awesome. I can
Yeah.
have a breather. And the coach was like, you had terrible body height. And I was like, what
Did
the
it matter,
fuck are you
bro?
doing? And I
Yeah.
said, well,
4 points is 4 points. Well, 5.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Well, when you're playing fucking 5th grade football and you're this size, it's hard stopping anyone with a bit of steam 5 meters out. So there's plenty of steam coming as well. Got denied a second, but we won't get into it.
Yeah,
'cause
we've
we
covered
talked
it.
about
We've
it too much the other day.
If you want to
Fuck.
hear, just listen to a few podcasts back. We covered it
Sorry,
up
I
at length.
apologise for
Nah,
asking. I
nah.
know you've heard it, so I'm sorry. I hadn't. So
I've literally been telling every cunt that can listen to me about it as well.
And even
so-
people that won't listen,
and
will
that's
still
our
be.
show for today, man. It was awesome for coming back.
I was sitting in a Portaloo today, actually, talking to myself about it, about what I could have done differently. But it's only been, 5-6 days since the event happened. So,
Plenty of time to reflect and rebuild.
yeah, and plenty more tries to be scored this year. So,
But no, it's been massive for us. Like we pretty much, I think, met up with you guys for the first time at Magic Round last year. So
Yeah.
it's been pretty much 12 months. It's been wild, but it's been wild for you boys as well. Obviously made the big move from previous work and doing a bit of stuff, obviously in the content space, but with the New Zealand Warriors and the Parramatta Eels. How's that going?
Yeah, why don't you kick us off, mate? What's going on with you?
Yeah,
'Cause I'm
life's
actually
pretty good.
interested in this too.
Because
Yeah,
like
so-
for people who don't know, that they're like your teams, right? It's not like you
Yeah.
just got a job
It's
with an
pretty crazy,
NRL
when
team.
you're
That
like-
is cool to think about.
We
yeah.
always say, so like the pub that's downstairs of where we used to live is the Glenroy Hotel. Shout out. Shout out to the
Second
Glenroy
best
Hotel.
pub in the world.
Second best pub. I did the longest pub crawl on the East Coast from the Glenroy
to the Caxton today. Yeah.
It's one of the great calls of
Yeah.
all time.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
just putting it out there.
Yeah.
In terms of like me and you, from where we've come from to be just sitting there working. I'm at Para, you're at Waz. It's cool, eh?
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I mean, we always said even when, at our previous job, like we're fans first, and that's the whole reason. Like we love two things: we love storytelling and we love footy. So it's like,
Yeah.
and at the end of the day, everyone has to have a team. I'm born in Auckland, New Zealand, so the Warriors have always been my team.
Yeah.
Lukey's been a Parramatta kid for a minute, so yeah, it's a pretty buzzy journey, but like our work that we were doing together and in conjunction with Ice and Justin and the whole crew, Suri as well. It's like that opened doors for us that these opportunities came from. So we're obviously
100%.
very grateful for that. But yeah, it's a pretty buzzy experience actually, to be honest.
it's been awesome from an outside perspective seeing you guys go into that as well, because we saw all the work that you guys have put in over the years to build up the brand where you guys were previously, and then to go over and work for those teams that you guys just fucking love. It's
And
just
even
so sick to see.
To see it in their content, like you see stuff, you're like, oh, I recognize
tell
that.
it's
Like,
Lukey.
you know, you've been following stuff from what you guys have done previously. Like, oh fuck, it's pretty mad to see that sort of stuff. And Jacko, one question I have for you, like potentially the best Instagram story I've ever seen in my entire life. Like, tell me about that zinger box.
Oh, yeah. You're talking about post-Roger?
Post-Roger. So, for people who don't know, the New Zealand Warriors recently re-signed Roger Tuivasa-Sheck, which
let's go.
on one of
He
our...
could have gone to market, surely.
Yeah, well, on one of our recent pods, we talked about, like, being Queenslanders, you know, you're supposed to hate New South Welshmen, but there's certain players, Nico Hines was the example we use, you can't hate.
You can't hate Nico.
Even being an Australian, a Queenslander, everyone fucking loves Roger.
I don't think anyone hates Roger.
He's a gun. He's fucking got the
Nice.
step. Yeah.
Smooth skin.
So
big
like,
carbs.
him coming back to the Wires was like just a sorry. Him coming back to the Wires was just like a perfect story.
Yeah, it made sense. Like, obviously, that was something that so to give people kind of an understanding how a club works is there's a marketing or comms department, which I work in.
Yeah.
A football department, a wellbeing department. So there's departments that obviously everyone talks to each other, particularly marketing and football. But we're not getting, the old like, hey, what do you reckon about signing Roger, Jacko?
Yeah.
No one's asking you.
No one's asking
you footy
But what
knowledge.
they do is they go, hey, we've signed Roger.
Yeah.
What's our plan here? And
Yeah.
I go, oh, fucking,
Holy
here's how we could
fuck.
tell this, blah, blah, blah. And they say, cool. Well, it's at 4 o'clock, so be ready to go. And so anyway, we scramble for that. And yeah, it was just an exciting time, bro. Like 2018 I was covering the Warriors as a journo when Rog won the Dally M. So that was a pretty special year to be a part of. And then I went to Sydney to work with Lukey after that. So kind of had that full circle. My first year back at the club, the sort of prodigal son returns. But the Zinger Box was more a case of like, we were just buzzing so much, bro. It was like, it felt very like NFL draft room vibes. We're working late.
Yeah.
Black coffee.
Everyone's
ink
doing
on
the shit they don't normally do, like
You're
rolling the
loosening your
sleeves up.
shirt.
Yeah.
For no reason. We're just sitting on our beautiful Macs in the office. But I started smoking for no reason. Like, it was just a couple of old salty sea dogs sitting around the office. And then once 4 or 6 o'clock came, obviously the news got leaked over here first of all. So here's another thing, if I may.
Yeah.
Kind of the nitty gritty of it. When an NRL club signs a player, you have to register a contract with the NRL. So when everyone talks about leaks within a club or leaks within anything like that, signings, the reality is, and I don't want to speak out of turn, man, the reality is like the NRL finds out first.
Yeah.
So like,
There's somebody saying there's...
no, I'm not saying there's somebody at the NRL leaking stuff, but like there's multiple ways where news gets out before a club can tell it.
Yeah.
So obviously news broke that, but we still got to confirm it and tell that story.
Yeah.
So it was pretty exciting. And then, I pulled up to the drive-through and I don't really know
your
what
best
came
work.
over me. I just thought it'd be a bit of a giggle and I pushed record and, I asked her for 2 burgers because we signed Roger and
You're like, we're celebrating.
we're celebrating. And then the worst part was then I got to the second window, like content done, nailed it. Then I had to pay $36 for 2 burgers.
I didn't even want this.
Hungry either. I was like,
Oh,
fuck.
it's too good.
And
That's
she's
the
like,
price
oh,
you
she
pay.
handed me. She's like, hey, you're celebrating? And I was like, I'm not recording.
That's all right.
The moment's passed.
The moment's passed. But it was a pretty cool week and it's been a pretty cool year, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah, hell yeah. It's awesome to see, like, you guys have gone back. The Wires are just playing awesome at home. They're playing awesome everywhere. I feel like the Wires for us, and we've got a lot of mates that get behind them as well. They're the team that you just can't, like, hate.
Even
Yeah.
you got behind the wires a little
Can
bit.
I throw a debate out there for the
Yeah.
potty?
Okay.
Of course.
Wars or Warriors? Because this has been a contentious of Levels Network.
Oh, bro, we're always
Really, it's
Wires.
gone hard for the... You're a War?
We all,
Yeah.
we
But
always,
when were you a War? That's the question.
Oh, it's a good question. We
So
have
my
one
theory-
friend.
So
You're
my theory on the Wars is when they came to Australia,
Yeah.
we abbreviate the fuck out of everything.
Yeah.
That's when it started.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Do you think?
100%.
Potentially, yeah.
I've never really ever heard them referred to as the Wires before that.
Because it's
Yeah,
contentious. Like the
pre-COVID.
debates in our content off the back of that.
Yeah.
You got OGs saying it's Warriors.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you've got the Wars.
We
the
have
new-
OGs
the
in
new
our
age.
club. We have the Monty Beastons of the world who hate wires.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think
Okay.
it sounds whingy, but the reality is...
And the Ruben Wikis and all those blokes.
Okay, well, hang on, all right, because we can debate this. The reality is, all right, up the wires has become such a tagline across our fan base that it's something that you can no longer deny.
Yeah.
Now, wires, like to your point, during COVID, because Australians can't say a first name without shortening it.
Yeah,
Correct.
Jacko.
Or a
Thanks,
last
man.
name for that matter.
Yeah.
Which is, and I'm actually about to be a father, boys, by the way.
Yep.
And
Congratulations, mate.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
And part of picking boys' names is actually it's a two-pronged thing. Not only do we have to pick a name, we have to pick what you losers are probably going to call them.
Yeah.
So
And the worst thing is you don't, like, you technically, I know that
I
you
don't
can.
know. I'm guessing.
Exactly. And if you, because you can't give yourself a nickname, right? You're like, this
We
is.
also can't pick a name with like an IE because we pronounce it differently.
Yeah.
So like,
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of an example now, but like, I don't know. Like I say Brad Pitt, you guys say Brad Pitt. Like
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
Brad
yeah.
Pitt,
I know what you mean.
Like,
Yeah,
so-
yeah.
But I digress. Wars, Warriors, call us what you want. Come September, it's not going to matter because we'll be in the finals anyway. You can call
Let's
us
go.
I mean,
Huge
fucking
call.
oath.
Heard it here
It's
first.
been an interesting debate on socials over the past few weeks.
It is. Yeah.
Dude, the amount of times that in our group chat we've had Waza legit this
Yeah.
year, like,
Yeah.
it's,
Yeah.
and you can't deny it.
Our mate Matto has been a staunch Waz supporter for the last few years.
Like he's from Brisbane, loves the Broncos, but if the Wires are playing not against Brisbane,
Oh, love
he'll
that.
send
Is he a
through
Kiwi
photos.
lad?
Love
Nah, just you know why? Because he fucking loves Roger.
Yeah,
yeah,
yes.
That's the whole reason
it's so
why he
funny.
started supporting
Bums
him.
on seats.
Our,
Shit.
Yeah.
our,
It is.
our group chat, we have this thing like if you bring up a topic or a story that has previously been talked about, like that day, it's like you fucking idiot. Like you just get shreds torn off.
Yeah.
Obviously the news broke and straight to the group chat, boom, boom, boom. And then Matto, who's like the biggest fucking wise dribbler of them all,
Yeah.
4 hours later be like, holy shit, have we covered
No.
RTS? And like, oh my God.
you
And if
fucking
anyone,
dribbler.
yeah, you should have fucking seen
Yeah.
this before anyone else. But he'll be like in full Waz game day kit on Sunday.
There was
Yeah.
a couple even when I was walking down here before, and
Yeah.
and there was also some retro like the old school 2001 Para jersey with the collar.
Yeah.
The one that I have.
Yeah,
The one I wore at
was it
Townsville.
2001, whatever it is.
Yeah. No, it was before that. If it's
Yeah.
got the collar.
It's got the yellow collar. Sick.
Yeah.
Gun. We've had this debate on our podcast 100 times. Any
If you-
jersey with a collar.
If you have a collar,
That's
you're
one of
gonna
the
win.
grass. That Brizzy one.
Yeah.
It's one of my
This
favorites.
is my birthday present from my good friend Josh.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's beautiful.
I was
Our,
strolling through Instagram one night and saw it from our Jersey Lord. Shout out to him and went, there's no way that 1995, our year of birth, there's no way that we couldn't
That's
get that
the best.
for him.
Coming out
So-
on this is a shameless work plug, but coming out on Monday we will release the first sort of footage of our heritage jersey.
Ooh.
It's got a collar and it
Nice.
is fucking
Yeah.
schmeck.
I was
You've
about
won
to
me
say
over.
the
SJ running around in a collar.
The collar, yeah. Oh, that's hard. Yeah.
The Waz, man, their jerseys over the years have been some of the best, and I think I love like the visual aspect.
You put up enough shots, you're gonna hit.
Yeah.
Like, I'll be honest. We put out some jerseys.
There was
And
one
we've
that
thrown
was
some bricks.
There was one that was green that was just terrible a few years
Yeah.
back.
When the
but-
Wires go back to their three core colours,
Yeah, with
it's
the V and- yeah.
it just hits. And
Mine's
like,
just Stacey
everyone loves the
Jones.
Wires jersey.
Yeah.
I always think like the Panthers just because it's black is sick. Like the
Yeah.
Panthers,
Yeah.
you can't.
But then
really miss.
when the Panthers go chocolate soldiers as well, it's also
Yeah.
like, amazing.
Yeah.
I love it.
Winning helps
yeah.
Winning does
because they
help.
wear pink, and I'm like, that's kind of cool.
Speaking of winning, something your boys aren't doing this year, but possibly turning it around.
We're doing all right.
Yeah, you're starting to get them back. Honestly, the start of this year, when they had a bit of a shocking start to the year,
We had
I
a
was like-
really tough draw.
I was like,
Yeah.
holy fuck. Like, this is fucked. Like, they've just come from a grand final, and I don't know what's happening, but they've turned it around now, and the weekend's performance was.
Yeah, but you say we've turned it around. The draws also change. We're getting
Yeah.
those winnable games. Like
Yeah.
we're going to beat the Knights.
I hate to
We're
admit
going
it.
to beat the Titans. This
I hate to admit it, but
Sunday
the
as
Bronx
well.
have had a good run this
They have
season.
had a great run. Do you know they only play 7 games? Oh,
Yeah, it's
I
something
could be wrong.
ridiculous
Outside
Outside of Queensland.
'Cause, like,
all
this
year.
weekend,
And
Magic
then
Round
people hit you
should
back
be.
the Bulldogs only play 10 games outside of but
Yeah.
7 games.
Yeah, because
Given that
this
there's
week's
the Redcliffe.
yeah this week's
Dolphins and
this
all
week's an
that.
away game at Suncorp.
Finzar.
Like,
Exactly
yeah, it's
right.
ridiculous.
Gotta get one of those things.
So, but yeah, Parramatta Eels has been so good. Our
I'll try and get one
podcast with the Eels is dropping in the next couple of weeks. I'm
Yeah,
super
huge,
excited
man.
to get
Awesome,
into
dude.
that.
That's mad.
Yeah,
That's
so
cool, bro.
And
cool to be a part of that process, building it, concepting it. Like Jacko flew into the gates and massive inspiration for what we're
Yeah.
going to do as well. But I think it's like clubs need to control the narrative of like their players and their stories, and
Yeah.
like if like that's what we're here to do. Like
Yeah,
I'll be
it's not
honest.
controlling the narrative; it's just like telling the story.
yeah,
It's like-
100%.
I'll be honest, man. Like, I've never really been a big Para supporter. As a Melbourne supporter,
Yeah.
never been a big Para supporter. But it's hard not to get behind them with like some of the shit you're putting out now.
Yeah.
because you get to know the players a bit better, and it's the same
And
with
they're
you with
cool,
the
bro.
Wires, bro.
Yeah.
They're-
Cool. The Paraboys are cool.
Yeah. And that's
they're,
it, like-
they're young, they're good looking.
Like Dill Brown, man, one of the
Winning.
coolest in the game.
Yeah.
man.
Moses, Gutho,
Our
like
con-
they're cool.
Yeah.
Our content team is so good. So I'm not in control of any of the videography or anything anything like that. That's all Bocco and the guy Brad.
Yep.
And he's going to kill me for forgetting his name right now. But
blame the blokes.
The team,
Blame Jacko's delayed
he's a good
flight.
bloke. He's a good bloke, that's for sure. But generally, like, we've got such a good team there, and I think like the one thing we are missing is that storytelling part of the Parramatta Eels story, because we've got like Parramatta Eels has got so much history, and like we don't want to dive crazy into the history, but we just want to tell cool stories. Like we got a ultra cool lineup. Like I can say that Olin Tekis is going to be a part of it.
Yeah, that's mad.
And then we've got two current players for the Parramatta Eels that are going to be a part of it as well.
That's
mad.
mad.
You can do a little rotating roster, so you're going to get a little bit different each week.
Mix it up,
But it's just going to be cool, and like we're going to have players coming in. We've got like there's such cool people in Western Sydney around that Parramatta area, and we just want to tap into that. Like it doesn't have to be a Parramatta Eels football podcast. We can be a cultural part of like you guys are from Brisbane, but Parramatta is like the second biggest CBD in Sydney.
Right.
So we need to tap into that.
It's a wig out when you drive there.
Yeah.
It feels like it feels like you're going into another city. Like it smells different, it looks different, it feels different, and it's fucking huge.
But then it's kind of still a bit westy as well. You know what I mean? Like you've been there. Like we went to that. How good's that sushi joint?
Yeah, what's it called? Fuck, what's that sushi joint called?
It's not an ad, but
one of the great sushi joints of all time.
There's nothing better than a good sushi joint.
Right, it's so good we can't remember the name.
So good that we can't remember the name. I'm going to blame the blokes for it.
Yeah, but
jet lag.
My point is like Parramatta is such like an important part of Western Sydney, and our theme for the year is the Rising West.
Also an important part of the NRL.
Yeah. Like, how good, like last year, as much as like you guys are from up here, Penrith Para is
massive.
like the perfect grand final.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, last year I was like, I have no fucking interest in this because I just hate New South Wales.
Yeah.
But that's just me being a one-eyed Queenslander.
But that's all part of it, right?
When you step back and you have a look at it, it's like, that is pretty sick because it is Western Sydney facing off.
It was cool to be there.
And one of my old managers, he's from Penrith. And I remember him talking about, like, say you're a Penrith junior and you go to Parramatta or vice versa, it's like the biggest deal.
Yeah.
Like how fucked it is that you're going to a rival like that. Yeah. So when I stepped back and thought of it like that, I was like, okay.
Kenzo's.
Can see this.
Kenzo's.
Got it.
It's Kenzo's. Kenzo's in Parramatta. Go and treat yourself. But the point is, like, you want the NRL humming in key markets.
Yeah.
100%.
That's what makes the game brilliant. That's what makes this weekend brilliant.
Yeah, exactly. And it was actually
Magic Round ad. That was good. Yeah. Fucking hell.
NRL.
Yeah.
Someone cut that
Reach
up.
out PVL.
That was awesome.
No, I was going to ask later on, like, the importance of sort of having that storytelling aspect. And we've touched on it in previous podcasts. Like, you look at stuff like Drive to Survive with the F1 and everything that's happening with Wrexham FC. Like, it's crazy. Like, do you think there's been a big shift in, and maybe where, you know, at the start of it now in the NRL, but do you think there's going to be an even bigger shift in the way media is built around the game in terms of, like, you know, for lack of better terms, we've got sometimes on the key TV networks the same ex-players talking about the same shit every week, spinning up headlines. Like, do you think that we're going to see more and more clubs sort of doing what the Wars and Para are doing in telling their own stories? And yeah.
Well, I think off the back of this season, so like, we've come out of COVID and all that drama and everything like that. A lot of the clubs have been under-resourced in terms of that capacity. Yeah. But I think everyone's going to look at the Dawn of the Dolphins and the Penrith doco on 9 Now and Stan and being like, because I don't, like, anyone who's watched that Dawn of the Dolphins is like, fuck, that's cool.
Yeah. Dude, being there round one when they got up, fucking unbelievable. You know what was sick as well? We ended up at a Dolphins thing afterwards and the CEO was there and he was late and he's got up, he's like, sorry, I'm late. The Stan documentary was supposed to finish when we ran out onto the field, but given the result, we were scrambling to get them in the sheds to capture the team song after the game. So sick. Crazy. He had like tears in his eyes and shit. It was fucking unbelievable.
But like that's kind of like setting the standard. So it's like, it's really not that hard for a club to do that internally.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Yeah.
I think you'll start seeing it moving forward. And like with conversations I've had with not just Parramatta, other clubs as well, they're interested in doing that sort of stuff. So I think it's only going to happen, like, organically.
Yeah. And they're going to see the likes of you guys doing it and the success you guys are getting off the back of it and probably roll it out themselves.
With the Dolphins, man, like up here, like Das, for example, when the Dolphins were announced, he's like, fuck 'em.
Fuck 'em.
There's
Broncos
no fucking
rival.
way I could ever get behind the Dolphins. Yeah. And then we're there at the first game. Fully fins up and he's wearing the jersey. Yeah. And it's like, it's hard not to get behind them.
Yeah, fins
but
fever.
It's purely because of the story they've told. And Like
the journey, even the history of that club, right? Similar areas to Para, like.
Thanks, Sterling.
Yeah, thanks, man.
No, but like why
Two
the fuck
beers
do
and
we
his
care about
nickname.
the marketing department of a football club?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then when you watch Dawn of the Dolphins, you're like,
Holy
it's
shit.
so interesting.
Yeah.
Like the way they're designing the jersey and as much like,
Yeah.
remember how much kickback that jersey got?
Yeah.
But when you're
So
watching
much.
it in the doco before it's even had that sort of kickback, you're like, that's so interesting, and you kind of understand the why.
Yeah.
So like in the hindsight, it's like if people understood the why before it was released, I don't think it would have had that level of
Yeah,
like
I know.
controversy.
Yeah, yeah,
Do you get
yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah, 100%.
Even like I don't think it's the greatest jersey, but I appreciate the message.
Yeah,
behind it.
exactly. From watching the documentary, you understand what the story they're trying to tell and
Yeah.
the history of the club. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
It is
June
fucking
3rd, they
sick.
play the Warriors at Mount Smart.
Ooh,
Tickets now.
yeah. They're
Good
both
plug,
going
good
pretty
plug.
well. That could be a fucking sellout.
How good is the NRL this season?
Right.
Just
Mate,
putting
It
it
is.
out there.
It is the closest competition from my recent memory. Like it's just like it just seems like anyone could win.
Do
each
you guys?
week.
You don't have a deal, Dave, but like.
Nah, he's sort of. He's
in
sitting over
terms
there.
of, like,
He's interrupting.
He's sitting right here.
being rude,
He's had
interrupting.
6 scooters.
He's
He's
the
got
bloke
his
with the
feet up.
receding hairline.
But in terms, if you went through the aggregate, like the plus minus, I would just think that it would be the tightest across the board in general.
Yeah,
over
for
the
sure.
past, say, remember there was like 4 or 5 years ago, everyone's getting blown out.
Yeah.
40, 50 point wins
Fight-
every
let's-
week.
Penrith,
Yeah.
Penrith lost one game in 2020. There you go. Probably an indicator.
But like even like the Tigers obviously haven't had the best start to the year. Just got their first win on the weekend. There's something going around. They're only losing most of their matches by 4 or 6 points.
Yeah.
Like it's just like it's such a tight competition, which is so good to see.
And now that everyone's reading Women's Weekly, like
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
that's it.
That's how you
Over.
break a dry spell.
Not an ad, but yeah.
but a huge ad.
Get
Huge
on board.
ad. Yeah,
Honestly,
yeah.
reach out, Women's Day,
Yeah.
or Women's
It's
Week.
the perfect
Handy
alignment.
If you guys got a woman's weekly,
It's so good.
you should just drew one up and just like do an ad read next week.
You're
so
so
good.
I'm going to do
But
it.
do it for like 6 months consistently.
See what happens.
This segment brought to you by Women's Weekly, and just
You know,
don't
when we
have to charge
first
it.
started, I can't remember how or why it came about, but we were just hell bent on getting a Metamucil sponsorship, and just doing a
It's from
Metamucil. Jabil, that's right, because he had
Because
fuck
you
can
guts.
use
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
Bro, I could use a lot of things.
Cutsy said to me he needs to go to the doctor for a
Your
checkup,
guts would be awful.
but he's waiting for this weekend because he
Yeah,
knows he's going to
good
get told to clean up
plan.
his act.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, that's it.
before we wrap up though, boys, did you have something else, Cutsy? Sorry, I think I cut you off then.
Sorry,
I actually don't really know.
Metamucil.
Oh no,
guts.
I was just going to say before we wrap up again, thank you so much for jumping on. What can we expect for the end of the year? Anything exciting that you can?
Yeah,
Let
I
us-
mean, other
let us
than
in on?
Prems, yeah, we got a lot of stuff exciting, bro. As like the football department, which are going to do their thing, and the boys are tracking in the right direction. But in terms of just us, sort of as digital storytellers, wider than that, and then looking into other partnerships. How much can I say about other avenues outside of just digital storytelling, merchandise, all that sort of cool stuff?
Yeah.
We got some pretty cool shit coming, bro, and it feels like a year for us as a club where we can kind of like, everyone gets, the scheduling's fucked and COVID was hard on us and all that. We can kind of flush that now and just be the cool club with good players who cop in for each other and a hectic fan base, and we sell out every week. So
Winning games.
Fucking
winning
oath.
games. It's not a
Roger's
bad place
back.
to be,
About.
bro.
Yeah, bro. Yeah.
And delayed flights and just all
Yeah.
the good stuff.
All the blokes,
yeah.
all the good shit.
I love that.
That's us.
What about you,
And then,
Lukey?
obviously the Parapod is coming out in the next couple of weeks. But the main thing that I'm keen on is like the Journey of Levels Network and what
Yeah.
we're doing there.
Yeah.
Fucking
So the
oath.
potty,
Massive.
the review preview, get
Dude,
behind that.
gotta be the best review preview,
Yeah.
like
Hands
NRL
down.
content.
Mace
yeah.
loves you guys.
He's a
We're on
gun.
the plane.
Yeah, right.
He's
He's a
like,
gun.
he's like, have you seen the bloody brilliant beers? And I was like genuinely, I'd never mention you guys in front of him.
That's
And I was
Yeah,
like,
that's
he's fine.
sick.
He loves it.
He's a
Man,
gun.
need to get him up here.
So yeah, Mason, he'd love it. So we did, but then off the back of that, filmed the first golf show, and
Yeah.
we're a Brisbane
Awesome.
audience.
Yeah.
Reece Walsh, Adam Reynolds.
Oh, just a couple of no names thrown around there,
So
like
that's coming out the
straight
next
to the top,
week or
baby.
So keep an eye on that Levels Network on YouTube.
Come over home and do one, bro. Come over. Shawnee and Wade play. Like Wade plays off like a 5 or something.
Far out.
We'll
He's
fly
done.
over for
We'll
it.
see.
Yeah.
We'll see. We're
Tell you
happy
what,
to travel.
two of
Hey,
the greatest
guess what?
Brisbane
Guess what?
finest
You guys were there,
golfers.
so-
Yeah, we need to have a giggle golf.
Have
day.
you heard this
Yeah.
story?
No.
So we got invited to a golf day radio station up
Nova
here.
one?
Nova
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
And they
Never
were,
played a round of golf.
they were
either
like,
of us.
what's your handicap? And I was like,
Shocks me.
as bad as it can be. And
Yeah.
the guy was laughing. I was like,
Playing
bro,
with
like
scratch.
legit, like
Like, yeah.
horrible. So we got paired with this dude who was a gun. and another guy who was pretty good, like way better than us, but not as good as this. This one guy just creamed him all
His
day.
handicap was 2.
Yeah, that's
So,
disgusting.
dude, he would tee off, and then I would tee off over that way, and Clutzy would go over that way. We'd spread out to find our balls, and by the time we found our balls, he'd be like this far from the pin, be like, one of you boys putted in.
Yeah.
Both of them had to
That's
leave
like
early.
That's like a dad helping his son.
Literally, literally.
It's like him to change gears.
And so everyone's just laughing at us two all day in party shirts. Anyway, our 2 partners had to leave early, so they're doing the awards thing at the end.
And you won.
They start at 10, 9, 8, and I was like, oh my fucking God, please
We're gonna
don't.
podium.
4, 3, 2, 1, winners.
No way.
And everyone's like,
We were
what
just fucking blind by the end of it, laughing, and we walk up
You
and
carried your putter up. Like,
Ethan-
I want to thank Old Reliable for
Ethan Lowe was there. He came second, and he was fucking livid afterwards. He's like, "How the fuck do you guys win?" I'm like, "It's honestly, just
you know
good."
golf, mate.
Yeah,
One of those
that's it.
days.
Yeah,
Got
yeah.
lucky.
Just
I
hit
don't
him
think
well.
I'll ever
Just
play
hit him
another
well.
round,
Yeah.
a competitive round again.
Just go out as a winner.
Well, we all go to New Zealand, bro. Come on out. Bring the
I
levels
love,
network.
you know, I love.
Fucking
Yeah,
We'll go
you
to
know I
Mount
love
Smart.
your
No,
you
motherland.
We'll go to
I've never
Mount
been to Mount Smart, so
Mate, you
keen
got
as
Mount
fuck.
Smart. Listen,
Yeah,
you're gonna have to come early because tickets are selling fast.
Yeah,
They
that's
are.
it.
How good is that? Too?
Yeah.
You know, how about this for a bit of fucking weird voodoo? Someone, it's on stuff.co.nz. An article came out today. All of our home games this year have ended the crowd attendance number. So we had 23,795, then we had 22,295, and then we had 21,195.
That's just a lazy ticket.
Now, are you ready
officer.
for this? Our inaugural year in the NRL,
95.
1995.
Oh,
Who's the kid?
Sean Johnson currently sitting on 195 caps.
Oh,
I actually don't know if that last part's correct. But all I'm saying is it's
So
close-
after
it's
this
close to
week, you
200.
won't be.
What's your
Something
salary?
like-
90.
What I'm saying is we're going to win 195. What I'm going to say is we're going to beat the Panthers 95 mil. It's kind of where
There you
I'm
go.
going.
Yeah, sweet.
load up.
You
Just
heard it
something
first.
We can edit that out.
Yeah.
Nah, we'll keep
Yeah,
it.
clip it.
Yeah, clip
And then just zoom in on me on the sideline. Hello.
Nah,
Thanks
boys.
for having us, lads. Appreciate
No,
it.
thank you so much.
Means a
This
lot,
is
man.
fun.
Nah, boys, thank you. You've always been big supporters of us, so stoked to get you on, and thanks for making the time to come and sit down and chat shit.
And learn Premiere Pro, man.
Yeah, one day, man.
Yeah, learn Premiere Pro, man. I don't do it.
I'm just gonna sit here and do nothing.
Shut up, boys.
Cheers, boys.
Appreciate it.